Remember old Overwatch, classic Overwatch, when dive was just meta forever? And then that ended when Brig came out, right? And with Brig came goats, and then after that we got Rollock, double shield, and then we had Auxaria. All of these metas just counter dive. So dive has been played since early 2018. But now, right now, we're in a state of Overwatch where dive is actually back. Now ball came out after Brig, and after goats was already a thing, so ball was never around when original dive was around. So ball against dive is kind of a new thing for us. So in this video, we're going to talk about what is dive, and then we're going to go over the defensive playstyle to counter dive, and then the aggressive playstyle to counter dive, and then one general tip that will help no matter the matchup, no matter which playstyle you're doing, high ground control. So first of all, what is dive? Dive is a high mobility team comp that jumps or dives into the enemy territory, normally their backline, and they burst a target, preferably a squishy like an Ana or a support or a DPS. Now, originally this comp was Winston D.Va, but now, in current Overwatch, you can trade out that Winston or that D.Va for a ball. You can even have a Zarya with a ball or monkey, and it's more of a slow pace. Brawlish dive, but it still is kind of dive. So now against all these different variants of dive, how do you play ball against them? Well, there's two ways to beat dive as Hammond. You can either 1, peel or counter dive, or 2, dive better. So the first one is more of a defensive playstyle, and the second one is an aggressive offensive playstyle. Now which one you use depends on the scenario. So let's talk about the first one first. A lot of people don't know what peeling is. So what's peeling? Peeling is a term that's been around for a while in older games like League of Legends and World of Warcraft. It's when you harass an enemy to get them off of your teammate. This is either done through just damage or CC. So ball can do this by booping someone, slamming them, body blocking, or even just shooting them with his guns. So let's use the example that they are diving your Ana. You can peel or protect her by booping them away or off of her, so that the Winston isn't able to laser him, because he has to be close range to attach to her. And the D.Va shotguns will be farther away, so she will do less damage. And then your Ana has some space to kite and possibly live. Normally on a coordinated dive, they're going to dive and use their resources to get that kill and then to have an advantage. But if you successfully saved your Ana or your backline or whoever, you should have a resource advantage. Now this is a very defensive playstyle, and if you are solely only peeling the dive, it's just better to go D.Va, because she can boop like ball, except it's instant and doesn't have that charge time, and she also has defense matrix to eat projectile damage. And her shotguns do more damage to melt those tanks that jump in. The second defensive playstyle is counterdiving. Basically, counterdiving is just diving the dive. It's similar to peeling, but you're looking more so to kill those people diving than to assist or help your backline. So when Winston jumps in, he most likely is going to be going in with a bubble, and he relies on that bubble to protect himself and to mitigate damage. But a ball himself can't break a bubble, it's going to take forever, and there's no point in shooting it unless your whole team is bursting it. But you can make his shield basically useless when you boop him out of it, and then you can slam him to keep him out of it even longer. And his 500 HP is pretty much useless against an entire team that's going to shred him. Now that is easier said than done. If he has a half decent off tank, he should get D.Va defense matrix or a Zarya bubble or some form of assistance to help him not instantly die. But that pressure damage that you put on him, or just that threat of killing him, will make him have to either back off or play safer. Now even if he's going in without that Winston bubble, maybe he's got a Zarya bubble, he's got something else to help him out, you can still boop him around a corner or deeper into your team, depending on where his backline's playing. You can boop him out of the line of sight of his Ana or whoever he has to heal him, and then he doesn't have as much assistance. Now the second way, the aggressive, I don't care about my team, I'll carry playstyle. As you guessed from the name that I mentioned earlier, you just dive their backline and just do better than their dive. While they dive and try to attempt to kill your team, you ignore them and you go on their backline. You need to be comfortable with your abilities and your aim so you can actually get that solo 1v1 kill, or sometimes it's going to be a 2v1, but you need to get something done or else your entire dive was useless. And you also need to do this without dying, because if you die, the fight's lost. Because you didn't get your dive off successfully, so you didn't do anything, and they probably got kills in your backline when they dove. But similar to when I mentioned booping the tanks out of the line of sight of their support, when you're on a support, they won't be able to help their team out because they're distracted and trying not to die to the ball that you are while you harass them. Here's a quick example. Although it's not ball, it's still the same idea. We call that Echo has ult, so they were gonna Monkey Diva ball dive us. So we said, okay, she's gonna dive our backline, just run and dive them better. And so as soon as they look to engage on us, they minefield us, we just rush their Ana, and she dies real quick. Before the fight starts, before you go to peel for your team or to dive better, no matter which playstyle you're doing, high ground control is very important. Take for example a point like Hollywood 2nd. The divers will look to jump to high ground before they go in. What we call that is staging. They're going to stage there or set up there so they can then just drop in and then have their cooldowns to get out safely. So controlling that high ground is very important because if you deny their setup, then you're going to either force them to use resources to get you off that high ground, or they'll be forced to go into your team without cooldowns. And you can do the same thing if you're attacking and they're defending. They're going to already be set up on that high ground, but if you can get around and behind and find an angle to boop them off of their high ground, then they can't just drop into your team for free, and your team's going to have an easier time living. Anyways, that's all I have for this video. If you guys like this kind of video, let me know in the comments. We can go over another comp in a future video, maybe Brawl, Bunker, Double Sniper, you know, any sort of comp that you guys struggle against. Let me know, we can go over it maybe in a future video. And while you're down in the comments, don't forget to press that red button down there, because look at this number. That's pretty sad, dude. Only this much? That's crazy. What reason is there not to press the red button? It helps me out. It helps you get more information and content that you want. Everyone's happy.